Hello my dear friends, it is I once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg, and today we have some insane Star Wars skeleton crew speculation and some news. In light of a certain Easter egg in the most recent 2 episodes, we now know how much George Lucas wanted to destroy the holiday special. We have so much to discuss. Before we get into it though, if you've not done so my dear friends, please be sure to hit the big subscribe button down below, hit the bell to be alerted every time that I post a new video, but no more jibber jabber, let's dive straight in. Star Wars Skeleton Crew introduced us to the ominous, mysterious world of At Attin, a planet jarringly similar to Earth, which as you can imagine was a rather controversial decision amongst Star Wars fandom. In my last video, and to a larger extent in my breakdown of the first 2 episodes, I spoke about why what's going on the planet is darker than you realise. I spoke about how the Great Work could have ties to the High Republic, and I also mentioned how the Imperial Remnant might be the ones keeping At Attin isolated. In either case, one thing is for certain, there is a dystopian uncanniness to the way things work, pushing kids for very limited government positions, emphasis on high skills, a security state mostly operated by droids, and a mysterious, unnamed supervisor we haven't seen, the person everyone answers to, particularly the parents of the children. Fern's mother is the Undersecretary, and Wim's dad is a top systems coordinator, and as we saw in the first episode, everyone is worked to death. Wim never gets to spend much time with his dad. He's always working. And another mystery is we still don't know how Wim's mother died. Something is amiss. And today, my dear friends, we're going to be looking at another clue, one I've been putting off. I wanted to save it for its own video. The mural at Fern's house. Fern's mother is Undersecretary Fara, someone who works at the supervisor's office. Whether she knows the true nature of At Attin and is in on its dark secrets, or whether she's just another cog in the machine, is yet to be unveiled. However, on the wall by the entrance is a very important piece of art, depicting a crucial moment in At Attin's history, the creation of the barrier, the origin of the Great Work. And as soon as I saw the mural, I just knew Dave Filoni must be behind it. He was an executive producer on the show, and as we know from Star Wars Rebels, particularly the mural of Mortis, Filoni loves using this style of painting to weave myths, legends, and deep history of the galaxy into his storytelling. And in this instance, I don't think we're looking at a random piece of art. In fact, this might be our most substantial clue so far. So, what's going on in it? So on the left and on the right, we have 2 workers who look human. The one on the left might be Thalothian, but the characters of note are the Ithorian, the human who kind of looks like Mon Mothma, and the old elephantine fella, the same species as Neel. These 3 characters are our biggest clues. For one thing, there's a good chance that Neel's species originates on At Attin. There are plenty of Ithorians as well, so my guess is that these characters are the founding fathers, but the divine nature of this artwork gives me the impression the Great Work is sacred to those on At Attin, dare I say holy. The reason why the barrier was built is unknown. There's also a theory that some of these founding members were Force sensitive. Maybe they're Jedi. It's also been pointed out, At Attin has a very similar naming system to the last name of Jod Nar Narwood, Narwood. And as I covered in some of the leaks, and massive spoiler warning, if you didn't catch that video, Jod Nar Narwood has a Force-sensitive relative known as Nina Narwood, and she is listed on IMDb as being a Jedi. So are Jod's connections to why he's interested in At Attin more than just financial, because we know he's a former pirate? And so the plot thickens. I'm very interested in learning what this is about. They're clearly in the sky, we can see some clouds behind them. The goddess-like woman has her hands in the air, looking up at the Great Barrier. And as I said, the layout is just so Dave Filoni. I saw another wild theory which I really don't agree with, but you know, I love sharing different ideas, even those I don't necessarily think are true. Someone suggested, what if this is At Attin's interpretation of the heroes of the rebellion, but because they didn't know the details, they got the species wrong. For instance, on the left you have Han Solo, the woman is Leia, the guy on the right is Luke. Somehow the Ithorian is Chewbacca, who of course is a Wookiee, and Yoda is somehow a Neel species. I don't think so. because I don't think they know about the rebellion, or the Empire, or now the New Republic. They've literally been closed off for so long. So I expect we're gonna learn more next week. I think At Attin is being mined for its resources. For what purpose, and who is behind it, there are many very good theories. I think what's even more crazy is how the children of At Attin think the rest of the galaxy is exactly the same. Wim's fascination with the Jedi and adventure causes him to stand out. In fact, they wouldn't have found the Onyx Cinder were it not for his curiosities. To those outside the planet, At Attin is a myth, described as a lost planet, containing eternal treasure. It's Neverland, which I guess is an appropriate comparison because the show does borrow quite a bit from Peter Pan. But when fans talk about the Earth-like feel they don't enjoy, I think it's mostly because there is something really strange going on. We're meant to watch the show and think, isn't it strange? This planet is like none of the others in Star Wars. But something that most fans missed is that when the children leave At Attin, their first destination, thanks to SM-33, is Port Borgo. Did you know this port has existed in the franchise for 30 years? A shadow port built into an asteroid in the Outer Rim. In terms of canon, it was first mentioned in Daniel Wallace's 2018 reference book, Star Wars Smuggler's Guide, where it was marked on a map owned by Mars Kanata. Again, is the Pirates Queen gonna pop into the show? Well, according to the map, it's situated near one of the most important hyperspace routes, which makes sense in the context of Skeleton Crew and the way the pirates have been exploiting those lanes. In Star Wars Legends, Borgo Prime was originally a colony established by the ancient Rakatans. They've made a lot of references to that empire. The Blue Sky Stone in Andor, for example, and also in Legends, adjacent to the events of this show, it was claimed by the Imperial Remnant. And staying on the subject of Skeleton Crew, Star Wars have finally addressed the circus hologram, the reference to the holiday special. This was one of my favourite Easter eggs, and we now know the extent to which George Lucas was embarrassed by the infamous 1978 movie. In fact, when John Watts and Chris Ford came around to recreating that moment, it was exceptionally difficult because so much of the original source material was destroyed. They were able to find the original wardrobe sketches, but not much else, and there is very little info on the original version, and so they got the stunt coordinator Colin Follen-Wider to dress up as Cirque du Soleil, and that's how they recreated it. And it's one of the very few times in an official capacity Lucasfilm has decided to acknowledge the existence of that movie. So that is the latest on the Skeleton Crew front, my dear friends. Share your thoughts on everything we spoke about and your theories in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, and may the Force be with you, always.